I have been absolutely dreading making this video because honestly, Excel is not my strong suit, but we're gonna go through this together. In today's video, I'm gonna sit here and we are going to go through some of my financial tables that I would use when starting a business. In part one, we covered theory. I'm going to link it up here and it will be in the description. So in part two, we are diving into the practical side of things. So to really get a true understanding of absolutely everything I am going on about, you are probably gonna need to watch part one first, but definitely come to part two afterwards, because we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of some of these tables, and hopefully you can get a good understanding of your sales forecast, your cash flow forecast, and your costs. So let's dive straight into my screen. But before we do that, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Tanya G, and on this channel I like to take you on a journey of building my clothing brand, as well as trying to drop tips, tricks, gems, and all of that good stuff. So please subscribe to my channel if you are into business content, especially business content that is tailored to clothing brands. So let's dive into my screen. I would like to sit here and say that I created these finance tables myself, but I definitely had assistance. So we are now in my screen, and you will see I have a couple tabs down here, but the tabs that we're going to be looking at is this SS19 tab, our sales forecast tab, and our cash flow forecast tab. But let's start off with this tab here. So I've already popped in the description of my garments here, and I've also popped in how many of each garment I want to purchase. The reason why I actually have this table is to basically work out the total cost of the stock, so that when I hop over here, everything sort of like populates nicely together. None of these figures are going to be accurate, it's just me popping it in, and as you can see, this figure is already totaling up the total cost. So here I'm popping in how much the delivery fee per garment it's going to be. Then additional components would probably be like your tags, your hang tags, stuff like that. And then here under purchase price is going to be like how much it is to actually produce this garment, purchase this garment. So I'm just going to put £10 for the t-shirts, and then £30 for the tracksuits. These prices are not accurate at all. So as you can see, this populates the total cost to purchase 20 t-shirts, and this box adds up how much it is to purchase my entire stock. So this is the important figure that we're going to be working with. Now this actually needs to have an additional table, which is our retail price. So this is basically going to be how much we're going to sell these garments at. I'm going to be able to see that it's costing me about £15 to produce this t-shirt, so I need to make sure that the price that I'm selling it at is going to be more than £15, so probably like twice that or more. I'm going to put 35. Don't worry, I'm going to change that so that it's a currency. So I'm going to just do 35 for all of the t-shirts, and then for the tracksuit I'm gonna label it as 90 quid, and I'm going to change that into a currency. You don't necessarily need to do this here, it's just good practice to have that like in front of you. So now we're going to move over to our sales forecast, and the first thing I'm going to want to edit are these figures here. So pull in the figures from this page. I can literally just copy and paste them, to be perfectly honest, because all of this is in the right order. So I'm just going to copy and paste that, and that is that on that. Now this is when things start to get interesting. So as you can see from my table, my financial year is running from September to August, and I have all the products that I'm selling listed here. I have them repeated here because I wanted to include how much I am selling them for, because everything is then gonna end up populating. And one thing we need to bear in mind is how many products we actually have. So in September I'm gonna say 2 khaki t-shirts, and as you can see, it's taken that 2, multiplied it by the 35, and it's populated it here, which has then taken it over to populate here. So you will see this number is gonna change. So we're gonna have 1 black t-shirt, 2 white t-shirts, and we're heading into tracksuit season, so I'm going to expect a few more tracksuit purchases. So as you can see, the turnover that I'm making in September, just basically based off that, is going to be 1,165. So we just carry on doing that, and I'm gonna sort of like use the same figures similar. It's getting colder, so I'm probably gonna sell less t-shirts at this point and probably sell about the same amount of tracksuits. And I'm keeping an eye out of how many, because remember, we've only purchased 20 of each. So when it comes to the tracksuits, I actually only have 5 left. T-shirts, I do have quite a few. I've got about 15 left here, 15 left here, and then like 17 left here. So December, I mean, it's Christmas period, so I can afford to probably sell a few more t-shirts. At this point in December, we're limited because we're out of tracksuits, so I can actually only sell 5. So in my mind, in January, I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably gonna need to have like some sort of restock that comes in January, ready to start selling in February. So I'm probably gonna make 0 sales on the tracksuits because I don't have any more tracksuits. But t-shirts, you know, little dip because, you know, it's January. I've sold 12 so far. I've got 8 left, so I'm just gonna pop 4 here. Again, I've got 10, pop 4 there, and I've got 12, and I'm gonna pop 4 there. The final 4 will be sold in March, then 6, then 4. So this total should total to 60. And that's basically like all my stock sold by March, trying to keep it quite realistic. And as you can see, all of this is populating down here. Sales in January are quite low, but sales in December are quite high. Sales in September are quite high. That's our launch month. Obviously, this is going to be 0. I'm going to assume that my new stock is going to come in April. So just bear that in mind when we come to putting together our cash flow forecast. And I'm able to say, okay, I'm going to sell a few more t-shirts because it's April. It's starting to warm up. And then maybe less tracksuits. So far we've sold 5 tracksuits. We have 15 left. We've sold 10 t-shirts. We've got 10 left. So I'm just gonna do 3, 3, 4, just so everything just adds up nicely and it just makes this table make sense, if that makes sense to you. So let's say 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That means we'll have 1 of these white t-shirts left over. August, people might start buying tracksuits again, so I'm gonna pop 5 into there, and then in the rest of these months I'm gonna put 1. So essentially this table is saying, okay, in March I sold 4 khaki t-shirts, okay, and that made me £140 in turnover, and in that entire month of all of my products I made £490. So it just populates all of the money that you're making, and then you're able to look at this and be like, okay, in September I made like okay bit of money. December we've had a bit of a spike. In August we've had a bit of a spike. We've had a low in January, and our next low was in July. So you can already start looking at your sales forecast table and start seeing, okay, in January I'm not going to make much money, so what am I going to do to, you know, sort of like help myself, subsidize myself, so that I am prepared for that month that I'm not making that much money. So this is our sales forecast. So now let's hop into our cash flow forecast. So you will see that it's already pulled all of these sales into our total money in. So you can then see after a year we have actually made £9,925 in the form of turnover. You will see that I have started a month before September. This is just so I am able to highlight, you know, any money that's come in and any money that we've probably spent. So you will see that the stock should have populated from this table, but I think it's actually incorrect. So just to quickly correct that, I'm going to go up here, put equals. I told you Excel is so annoying for me, so I'm gonna pop over here to SS19 and click that, and then when I go back to cash flow, that should have the right figure. I don't know. Oh, Excel, man, I don't know why it's not giving us the right figure. Go over here. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So now that's got the right figure. Here, obviously, it's already populated that I'm going to be looking to purchase my stock in February, so that is ready to come in April. So that's looking correct so far. I'm going to explain all the aspects of this table, don't worry. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is actually looking correct. So up here, you will see it says money in. So maybe you have somebody that's investing in your business. Maybe you've decided to go down the Princess Trust route and you're getting some funding or whatever. So we can actually pop in some money coming in, because at the end of the day, you're going to need money to actually make this purchase. So I'm going to just say, okay, I have 3,500 coming in, and I'm gonna need that to reflect down here because these balances need to balance out. But as you can see, it's just reflecting the money going out. So we are going to work out how to make this make sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add this box, and that should make all the table make sense. So here we can see we've got this money coming in, but I'm actually going to move that and write it up here so that I can note what this is. So I'm going to put that down as investment, or maybe in your case you can say like savings or loan or whatever. So all of that now makes sense, right? You'll be able to see that it's already taken the figures from here and popped it into money coming in from our sales, and I've already populated the stock money going out, but now we need to populate everything else. So materials and supplies, so that's things like packaging, all of that kind of jazz. I'm going to just guess that at like 500, but you would have put together your costs table, so you will actually be able to pull accurate figures for your materials and supplies, if that makes sense. But I'm actually not going to go through that table in this video, otherwise this video will be awfully long. So advertising, I can say, okay, I'm going to spend £10 a month on that. So because I'm spending £10 a month, I'm going to need to stretch that to the rest of the months. Wages, I'm not paying any wages, so I can actually delete that column. Bank charges, I'm actually going to change that to Shopify fees, and then the next one I'm going to change to Shopify subscription. So Shopify fees, I'm actually going to do this as a percentage. This is my Excel skills coming into play, so I'm going to put that as equal, and essentially I want to say that it's going to be 2% of the total sales. So how will I present this as a percentage? This is going to be a bit of trial and error, guys, just bear with me. We're going to take this figure and we're going to times it by 2%. Okay, that works. So essentially this is 2% of this. Those are my Shopify fees. Obviously I don't know what the real Shopify fees are going to end up being, but it's just to get a good idea, and obviously I'm going to stretch that over until August. Shopify subscription will remain the same. That's going to be £25 a month, and I'm going to be paying that every month. Spitalfield Market, I'm probably not going to do that, so I'm going to take that out. Travel, I'm going to put aside maybe about £60 a month on travel, so I'm going to stretch that. And as you can see, all of this is changing. So every time I add something here, it's increasing the amount of money that's going out of the account. So you will see that in August, because I pumped out quite a bit, that's the total amount that I've pumped out in August. Telephone and internet, probably not going to be paying that, so I'm going to take that out. Pop-up shop fees, so I need to decide, okay, when am I going to do a pop-up? But you will see when we were doing our sales forecast, we didn't actually anticipate doing a pop-up because that would have been a big spike in sales, and also would probably have to purchase additional stock, so we'll need to reflect that in our table as well. So I'm probably not going to do a pop-up, but if you were going to do a pop-up, say you're going to do a pop-up in May, for example, you'd put your pop-up fee in there, but just before that you would also need to like purchase new stock. And now when you're doing your sales forecast in May, these figures are going to be much higher because you would have been at a pop-up. Website, obviously I have put it up here already, so I can delete that column. If your funding is a loan, you'd want to put your loan repayments in here, but I don't need to do that. My insurance, my actual insurance for my business actually does cost me £21 a month, so I'm going to pop that in here. I am going to leave that pop-up shop fee in there because I would probably want to use it at some point. National insurance, don't know how much that will cost. Corporation tax, accountancy charges, I will probably be paying that out in August, preparing for the accounts to be done, so that will be an August outlay. Photo shoots will be before, so I'm probably spending £400 on that. Trademark fee, if you've decided to trademark your logo, whatever, maybe 180, and other things that you can think of that would be a cost. So that's just to give you an idea of what this table can look like. And then as you can see down here, it's populated all the costs of each month like this. So that's what this line is. So then down here, you can see what your business has actually cost you that year. And then up here, you can see how much money is in your business or how much money your business has made. But remember, that's also including the money that you've invested into your business as well. Your balance is basically how much money is essentially in your account in that month. So my balance for August is 110 because I have put in 3,500 and I've taken out 3,390. So my closing balance is going to be 110, which is good because we're in the green, we're positive. So the next month is going to take into account this figure and also the money that's going out as well as the money that's coming in, and it's going to populate that to show what the balance is. So it's taking this figure here, subtracting this figure here, adding this figure because it's a positive, and then that's how we're going to come up with our closing balance here, if that makes sense. So say if we spent a little more than what we have or sold a little less, some of these figures might be a minus. So let's adjust how much money I have coming in just so I can show you. 3,000. You will see that this figure quickly changes to a negative, so our business is in minus now. But what then happens is it's going to carry over that minus and put it here. But because in September we made quite a bit of money and we had less outgoings, it's now made our closing balance a positive because it takes this, it's going to subtract this, and our balance is now a positive. And now we're going to keep sort of going up a little bit, but then here we're going to dip a little bit because we've made this big purchase. So actually our balance in February, not taking into account all of this, is actually negative 2,000 because in this month we've only made 400 but we have taken out 2,300, which means that we're on a negative. But because we've been making money the rest of the months, our closing balance does remain in a positive. Now a big money out that I've actually forgotten is our budget, so our survival budget. So I'm actually going to hop in here and change this one and change it to personal budget, which you would have already come up with, and it's not really going to change month to month. I'm going to say my personal budget is about 500. That's really going to drastically change a lot of these figures. I am going to change this back to 3,500. I haven't included a budget for August because I'm assuming, you know, I'm gonna still have my salary. So as you can see, that adjusts our numbers quite drastically, and it actually means that in the end we have a negative closing balance because the total money out has ended up being a bit higher than what our money in is. But that's almost like quite an easy fix. So we need to now go back to our sales forecast and think, okay, I actually need to make more money, so I need to make the price of this t-shirt higher. So when you see some of these small brands and they're charging like an arm and a leg for a t-shirt, it's because we need to survive out here. So I'm gonna say, okay, my t-shirt is actually gonna be £50 and my tracksuit is gonna be £130, and just by simply changing these figures, it's gonna change everything in our cash flow, and hopefully we're gonna have a positive balance, which we actually do. We end up having a closing balance of £3,902 just by simply adjusting some of these prices. So guys, oh my goodness, that was quite the video to film. And honestly, like I said, I have been dreading it because I knew it was going to be quite fiddly, especially as somebody that's not very good at Excel. But I hope you have got a good, clear understanding of your sales forecast, your costs, and your cash flow forecast. If you do have any questions at all, you need things clarified, definitely comment down below and I will definitely get back to you. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video and I really hope you subscribe because of it. If anything, please definitely like this video and I will catch you in my very next video. Bye.